I'm just laughing at myself because I just recorded an entirely different intro for a video that I didn't need an intro for right now. Like I had a plan and then just went off on a completely different tangent. But here I am, here we are, and we're gonna make pulled pork meals. So I'm gonna make a $13 big piece of, it's pork butt, you can use pork shoulder or you can even use pork loin. And I'm gonna see how many meals we can get out of this, because I think that pulled pork's one of those things that, yes, it's an investment to buy that initial piece of meat, but it can last quite a while and you can do a lot with it. So I love those make something once, eat all week kind of things, and pork butt is like that. It's gonna give you a lot of really good meals. And these meals are sometimes things that maybe you haven't heard of before, so I'm really excited to share them with you.
We're gonna start off by making our pulled pork. Now, if you have a favorite recipe, you can just go ahead and use that, but I am going to give you a simple crock pot recipe to cook up your entire pork butt or shoulder or loin. I'm using a pretty decent sized pork butt to do mine, and mine is boneless. We're going to dice up 1 yellow onion and place that in the bottom of our crock pot along with 4 diced garlic cloves. And the recipe calls for the juice of 1 orange, and I didn't have that. So I actually ended up using orange marmalade, and it tasted delicious. So I was just looking for anything orange flavored or orange citrusy that was in my refrigerator or cabinets, and I happened to find that, and I thought that would be a great substitute. So that just is an encouragement to you to look around your house and see what you have when you don't have the exact ingredients that you need in a recipe. Alternatively, when it comes to the diced yellow onion and chopped garlic, if you don't have fresh, you can always use powdered, and we're just going to add that to the rub that we would put onto our pork butt. For the rub, I'm using a half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of white pepper, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're just going to mix that well, and we'll end up putting that on our meat. You can also add some smoked paprika to that. I didn't, because I was making a recipe for my mom and she has an allergy, so I didn't add that in, but smoked paprika would make it taste delicious as well. So we're just going to put all of your chopped onions in the bottom of that crock pot along with your minced garlic and a couple of teaspoons of marmalade or the juice of an orange. Then rub your spice mixture all around your entire piece of pork. Add that to your slow cooker and cook on low for 8 hours. It turns out absolutely delicious. There was no bone, but fall off the bone good. It's so tender and flavorful, and there is so much meat here. There is a little bit of fat, but aside from that, all of that is amazing meat that we can make meals with. The first thing that I was going to use my pulled pork for was sliders. So I grabbed some Hawaiian rolls from Aldi, where you can get the King's Hawaiian, or Walmart has a good brand too. And unfortunately, I didn't get any good footage of it, but you just put your pulled pork in a layer on top of your cut in half slider rolls, then just drizzle it with your favorite barbecue sauce and top it with your favorite coleslaw mix. I just bought some coleslaw mix from Walmart and mixed it with the Marie's coleslaw slaw mix or dressing and placed the little buns on top. Then I just put a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and some Italian seasoning right over the top of the buns with some olive oil, and toasted that for about 10 minutes at 350 degrees. And these are a huge hit. I was able to make 24 of them, and I still had plenty of pulled pork left over. You can do just like 1 package of rolls, 12 rolls, and that's a great dinner on its own. With a serving size of 3 rolls per person, that works out to 8 meals already, and we have plenty of pulled pork to go. I am just cooking up some bacon because we are going to make a pulled pork nacho. The bacon is not 100% necessary, but if you have some on hand, go ahead and cook that up. I'm just going to start with a layer of Tostitos, and then I'm going to kind of shred apart some of my pulled pork. I just pulled this right out of the fridge, and you can place it on top of your chips. Nachos are great because you can do anything you want with them, and you can use whatever you have around the house. I happen to have some red onion, so I diced that up and placed that on top of my nachos, as well as some green pepper from my garden. You could add drained black beans or even canned corn to this. And I'm just putting my cooked up bacon. If you don't have fresh bacon, you can use those real bacon bits from Walmart. Those are super inexpensive and budget friendly. You could even use the tiny little bacon bits from the Dollar Tree. I shredded up a block of cheddar cheese and put that over the top. But again, whatever type of cheese you have or want to use, cheddar is great, but so is like Monterey Jack or Colby Jack or even pepper jack. That gives it an extra little spice to it. and then just a drizzle of barbecue sauce, whatever your favorite is or whatever you have on hand, just go ahead and do that. And then you just want to add another layer. So I'm going to do 3 layers here and just make them your own. This is a great meal. Like, I always think of nachos as like a going out to a restaurant type of thing or an appetizer type of thing. But the truth be told, when it comes down to it, it's a fine dinner. We had ours for dinner. We just like each took a portion, put them on a plate, had it with some sour cream and some salsa, and we were so happy and so pleased. Everybody enjoyed it, and you get a little bit of everything. I baked my nachos at 350 degrees for 10 minutes, but it kind of does depend on your oven and how you like them cooked. So make sure to check them regularly to make sure that they don't burn and everything is melted down the way that you like it. Everything is nice and warm and crispy, and they will be absolutely fabulous. I promise you, you will be so happy that you made nachos for dinner. It probably depends on how much you eat, but this comfortably feeds at least 4. So I'm going to put us up to 12 servings already using our pork butt. This next recipe was totally new to me. It's a leftover pulled pork tater tot casserole, and it did not disappoint. I have to admit, I had 3 servings of it. It was that good. So you just want to finely dice a small onion. Shocker, we're starting with onion yet again. But hey, if you don't have onion, what do you use? Onion powder, totally fine. Then you need a green bell pepper, and you want to chop that as well. I happen to have one for my garden, so that worked out really nicely. But if you don't have green bell pepper, you can use whatever color you like, or you could even probably use some roasted peppers from the Dollar Tree. And if you don't have that, I think this casserole would be just fine without peppers. It's not a big deal. Add about a tablespoon of oil to a large skillet over medium heat, and then you can add 8 ounces of mushrooms as well as your cut up peppers and onions, and we're going to saute these for about 10 to 12 minutes until everything is mostly cooked. In the meantime, you want to mix together 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of paprika, and a 1/4 to 1/8 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Add a half a cup of shredded cheese and mix well. Now, the original recipe calls for 6 to 8 cups of pulled pork, but I'm just using what I have left, which is about 3 cups, and it was plenty of pulled pork for this recipe. So however much you have left, go ahead and just throw that in there. You'll find that with the veggies, everything else, it's plenty of meat. Once your vegetables are sauteed, go ahead and add that to that mixture as well. And I'm also going to add in 1 drained can of corn. Pour your mixture into the bottom of a greased 13 by 9 pan. Then you'll need a 2-pound bag of tater tots, and I'm just going to top my casserole with rows of tater tots. And then we're going to use 1 cup of shredded cheddar or whatever type of cheese that you have and top it with that. Bake your casserole at 375 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes until it is bubbly and the tater tots are crispy. And this is absolutely phenomenal. I was weary of it when I first made it. I was like, this looks kind of weird. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it was absolutely amazing. Like I said, I had 3 servings. I could not stop going back, and I had it for leftovers the next day. This serves, wow, I think this serves like 10. It has plenty and plenty of food. So we're gonna add in 10 servings there and say that we're getting 22 servings of meals with our $13.50 or somewhere around there pork butt, or pork shoulder, whatever you're going to use. I think that this is a great budget meat. It's something that can help you eat all week and make sure that you have a protein to start off of and go off of. I want to thank you all so much for being here today. Make sure to comment below if you have some great pulled pork recipes as well. I'd love to know the creative things that you're doing with it, and it always helps out the community because the comments are so strong these days. Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I just hit 30,000 subscribers and I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for you. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all very soon. I've been waiting all my life.